In one of my previous videos, I went over how to build the mudroom bench, and today we're going to be showing you how we built these high-end looking mudroom lockers. Now, breaking down all of the plywood is much easier to do with a track saw. I actually just got the track saw from Craig Tool Company, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I think I'm going to use it to break down all of my plywood from now on. It gives you a nice clean cut, but it's also very accurate. Being able to lay that track down on the line and make that smooth cut is far easier, it's safer, and just much easier than trying to force a full sheet of plywood up on top of a table saw. So when it came to building the actual cabinets for these lockers, I did it all in one unit. Now this is about as wide of a unit as I would want to do all together. It's 88 inches long and it's 6 feet tall. This is 6 feet tall sitting on top of our mudroom bench that we did before. So the structure is actually pretty simple. It's 3/4 inch plywood, and then the middle section of all of the lockers is actually just backed with 1/4 inch plywood, and that's going to save on weight and on cost. After we got everything cut down, we moved on to the joinery. Now the joinery that we're using for this cabinet, or this structure rather, is actually pocket hole joinery, and that is, you can use any pocket hole jig. I think we use the Craig Foreman for most of this process, and that just makes drilling a whole bunch of pocket holes a lot faster. However, even the smaller Craig R3 would be plenty to get this job done. Once all the pocket holes were drilled, we came back and assembled everything with 1 1/4 inch pocket hole screws. And then we tacked on that 1/4 inch panel that I spoke of earlier with 1 1/2 inch brad nails. So we reached out to our local cabinet, or our local woodworking shop. It's actually in Pontiac, Michigan. If you're interested, the name of it is Elliott Woodworking, and they did a fantastic job making these doors. They have jigs to be able to make sure that these doors stay nice and flat and true, which is nice because I don't have those capabilities. When we got the doors, they didn't have any of the holes drilled for the concealed hinges. So luckily we've got a concealed hinge jig from Craig Tool Company, which is really easy. All you do is clamp it onto the door. You mark your locations, clamp it onto the door, and then you can drill it. They've got the Forstner bit, everything's built in, including the stop to make sure that they're drilled at the correct depth for the concealed hinges. With everything done, we can move on to the paint. And the paint that we selected for this project was the same thing that we did with the mudroom bench base, and that's called cracked pepper. It's from Behr, and it's a paint specifically designed for cabinetry and trim. It's just gonna give you a more durable finish. Now we used our Graco paint sprayer to spray that on. It's an airless sprayer, so it went on. We didn't have to thin it or anything, and it just went on and gave us a nice even coat. Before we sprayed it, we actually primed all of the bare wood and then came back and sprayed 2 coats of the cracked pepper on top of it, and it turned out really good. If you like videos like this and you want to see more of them, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't done so already. And also don't forget to ring that bell right next to it so that you get notifications anytime we drop a new video. And once the paint cured, we were able to get the whole unit inside and start to mount it to the wall. We got it situated just right, and then we added a filler strip to the side to make sure that it blended into the wall and looked like, or it is a built-in piece of furniture. We installed the crown on top, which is as simple as finding the angle of the walls and the lengths and cutting it down, and then setting it on top and attaching it with 1¼ inch wood screws. I actually had some crown molding left over from our kitchen, and so don't ask me where I got this crown molding from, because I don't know the profile or where to get it from, because it actually came from our cabinet maker. Each end is going to be longer than it needs to be so that I can cut it down when it comes time to install that. When it came time to install the doors, we actually made a template to make it easier to find out or figure out where those hinges go on the inside of the locker itself. So we used the Craig concealed hinge jig to bore those holes into the scrap piece of wood. And basically a smaller piece of wood is gonna enable us to put the entire hinge on that template and then slide it into the corner just where we know that our door is gonna go. And then we're able to reach around behind it and attach the plate or the mounting plate to the inside of the locker. Once that's attached, then we can remove the template and the door will slide on just where it needs to go. Last but not least, we've got to install the hardware. So this consists of the cabinet door pulls, and then we've also got some hooks inside that we installed. So the cabinet door pulls are much longer than normal, so we ended up having to make our own template. If we had the smaller door pulls, Craig also makes a jig for that, which works great. I've used it on a bunch of other cabinets. However, since we've got these longer pulls, we needed to make a custom template, which we did so just with a sheet of paper for the smaller handles that went on the mudroom bench. And for these, we actually made it out of a longer piece of scrap wood. All in all, we love the way that this mudroom came together, from the nice, elegant lockers to the natural wood top that's here. This is actually from Live Edge Detroit, and it's just a reclaimed down tree that was in Detroit, and we were able to salvage that and bring a piece of that into our home. We also continued this, it's actually Siberian elm, and we continued that Live Edge theme over here into this nice built-in desk, as well as the floating shelf above it and some recessed lighting in that shelf, which turned out beautifully. It's all just a dream come true, and we love the way that it came together. But wait, before you go, make sure that you check out this video up here. YouTube thinks you'll like it, and I do too. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you hit that subscribe button right there. And if you want the full details on this build right here, you'll have a link right here below. And until next time, be safe and happy building.